I just finished watching House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3, and this episode definitely had a lot to unpack. There was a lot going on, and I feel like this was the episode that really marched the group into war based off of the events at the very end, which I thought were genuinely crazy, but I'm not going to lie, I was very confused by a lot of items in this episode because as good of a show this is, sometimes I feel like I'm too dumb to watch it. Like, seriously, I genuinely think there's so much going on in the show that my head is spinning at all times. So here's what happened. The very beginning of the episode, there was a fight between two people. The next shot, they're all dead. Literally no idea what that was. That was one of the plot points of this episode. We got to see Sir Criston Cole in action as his first day as Hand, and how awkward and stuff that was, and all of his plan with marching into war and all of that. So that was something we saw. We also saw a little bit of Daemon. We saw what happened with him when he took over Harrenhal, I think it is, except when he gets there, no one's there, and it was like, it reminded me of when in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Dennis has to go into the castle because he has COVID or whatever. It reminds me of that. Not really, not at all, but the point I'm making is there was a creepy castle, blah blah blah, no one's at Harrenhal except for the one guy from season 1 who his family was killed and they thought the Whisperer guy did it, I think. There's a lot of little details in here which are great. I gotta tell you, it was nice to see Millie Alcock again reprising her role as young Rhaenyra, even though I've said it multiple times, young Rhaenyra as well as Paddy Constantine as Viserys were such strong elements to season 1 that their presence is missed, even if I think this season is so far off to an even better start than season 1 was. You know what I mean? Their presence alone just spoke for so much. It spoke volumes, really. So to be able to see Millie Alcock once again reprising her role, even if it's literally for not even a 10-second cut of her face, it's still worth it. You know what I mean? It really is. But I like that we're also getting tie-ins, and I like that a lot of this story tied into season 1. From what I understand, there was a lot of Easter eggs out there and all of that. I watched the after show talking thing, and I feel like this is the only show I have to do it for because there's so many things going on that I genuinely feel like an idiot every time I watch it. I'm like, oh, what? I missed that. Where did that come from? What's going on here? It's because there's so much to uncover in one episode of House of the Dragon. It was the same way with Game of Thrones, so I'm not going to claim that as like a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I think this is one of those shows, at least for me, where I can't watch it once. Even if I don't want to watch it a second time, I feel like I absolutely need to, because there is just so much to uncover in this story alone. It is impossible to pick it up all at once in the first viewing. That's what this episode felt like for me. Didn't in any way make that a bad episode, because it wasn't. This was another fucking banger in the franchise of this, damn. Seriously, House of the Dragon is so damn good. I love all the characters. And kind of going back to what I was talking about Paddy Constantine as well as Millie Alcock and their roles, Aegon is just off the goddamn charts. Aegon is such a good character this season. He's one of those characters that when he's on screen, I'm like, cool, sweet, we're getting some good shit here. I love what they're doing with his character. I like that you kind of hate him, but you also sympathize with him really well. And the actor whose name I tried so hard to ingrain in my brain, I read it and I said it like 4 times. I was like, I'm going to remember. Totally lost my mind. Whatever. His actor is phenomenal. Seriously, he's of this season. It's him. It's of course Rhaenyra. It's of course Alicent. It's Otto Hightower. But specifically Aegon is just on a different chart. Really, I'm so excited to see where his story goes, and I have a feeling he's not going to last forever. I don't know, but that's just what it seems like based off of the story. But I'm liking what we're getting with him. I feel like he's stealing the show a little bit right now. I love his development. So there's that. As far as the rest of the episode, one of the things we did get was something with Aegon specifically going out with everyone after the Whisperers guy was like, oh, people are saying Alicent's going to try to take the throne, blah, 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 which who knows? I mean, kind of what it seems like. Whatever. Not really at all, because the ending is a whole different thing. So I guess not. But the point is, he is taken back by that. So essentially, I think he's staying behind. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But we see him go out. He runs into the other Aegon name who has the scar on the eye, who was the guy who was like in the Voldemort fetal position. We see him run into him at the brothel, and that was an interesting little story there. And I feel like there's going to be even more memes tonight because of what we got with him in this one. What is it, Aemond? His name's Aemond. Aemond, yeah, we got full dong from Aemond. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff on Twitter about that, because that was another one. I could see that just being memed to death, but whatever. That's a small detail in the whole thing. What else did we get? Other than like the big one, the only other thing I could think is the girl is now babysitting essentially Rhaenyra's kids while Rhaenyra wants them in hiding. They're trying to make that out to be a big thing. Maybe it is a big thing. I have no idea, but it was fine. Like, okay, someone's got to do that, I guess. I don't really see the significance there unless there's something I'm missing. Like I said, I need to rewatch it because this show gets goddamn confusing in the best way. This show has substance, and that's a good thing. It's just, I don't get it. It's really bad, but whatever. Ultimately, it ended in a very strong way, which is absolutely now marching them definitively between Rhaenyra and Alicent into war. So essentially, from what I gathered, and let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I gathered from watching the episode and the insider after, is essentially Alicent took what Viserys was saying on his deathbed as word to put Aegon on the throne, but really it was just a reference to that story. I think it was A Song of Ice and Fire or something like that. Fire and Ice or something like that. I know the original book is called A Song of Ice and Fire. Is that what it was called? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Apparently, what it was he was telling like a story about Aegon the Conqueror and mentioned the name Aegon, but he was talking about a different Aegon. Is that what happened? Because if so, that makes perfect sense, because then finally when Rhaenyra explained that to Alicent, her whole world flipped upside down. She's like, oh, mistakes were made. Poopy. You know what I mean? That's what I think happened. I hope so. That's what I kind of got from the episode insider, but definitely let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Either way, even if I didn't know that, I was still like, oh, damn, dude. You know what I mean? Even if I was just there blind with cymbal monkeys clapping in the back of my head because I didn't know exactly what was going on, it was still, you could tell they were visually and like emotionally setting you up for it to be this big thing. Ultimately, what comes of it is Rhaenyra and Alicent are now too far gone. They're going to war, and now Rhaenyra came out of that essentially realizing that, okay, no, my claim to the throne is still very accurate. Alicent was just wrong. That's what I got from it. If that's the case, I'm so fucking hyped to see where this goes. Regardless, I'm hyped because this show just continues to amaze me. I will definitely have to rewatch this episode because there was a lot of moving pieces here. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the episode down in the comments. And with all that out of the way, thanks again so much for watching this video. Until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.